read on the attack for Everton as Hristich stumbled at a most inopportune moment. And here he is again on the ball. Shouldered off at this time unfairly by Reed. So free kick to Rapid Vienna. Lying second in the Austrian First Division, but really with no chance of winning the championship now. 7 points behind the leaders, Austria Vienna. Stevens. And Trevor Steven. And the big number 6 there. Keenas not really getting it away, the cross coming over, but it's behind for the goal kick. Only joined the club at around about Christmas time, Michael Consell, playing his 5th full first team game. It's some ordeal for him. Good jump by Ratcliffe. Here's Hristich. And Krankel. What a touch for Braunedder. Feeling is about Panenka, 37 years old, the midfielder is, that he isn't fully fit. And that's why he's been made the substitute, but he might well come on. Gary Stevens in danger of being caught out by Krankel. But a shove in the back provides Everton with the free kick. Pat van der Haar. Kevin Sheedy. And towards Andy Gray, Hristich there first. An all-action player, getting it back to his keeper. It is Weber, the sweeper. Krankjaw. Weber. Field to Ratcliffe. And then Howe. Sharp trying to come off his man, collecting, finding Reed. And then Howe. Hristich away. Ratcliffe. And not a very good clearance there by Gaga. And Sharp turns it back again towards Andy Gray, and Console getting it above Gray's head. Krankjaw giving the ball away. Trevor Steven there now for Everton. Good, sprightly start this by the English champions. Braunedder. Krankjaw brought down. Foul by Sheedy. And that's your number 1 warning, says referee Casarin. Krankjaw, who's Yugoslav like the Rapid manager, who is Otto Baric. Free kick to be taken by Braunedder. Krankjaw. Nice turn by the Yugoslav. Stopped by Bracewell, and now Peter Reed. Trevor Steven outside it. Andy Gray up front. Sharp at the far post. And Weber doing a good defending job. Everton's throw. Gary Stevens looking to be ready to hurl a long ball into that Rapid penalty area. Good long one it is as well, but well caught by the keeper. Mountfield getting there before Packelt. Brandon Howe. Steven. I think in most people's minds Everton are slight favourites for this game. Gary Stevens. Sharp trying to get in, but some good defending that time by number 3, Kurt Gaga. And a free kick. Early impressions, Brian Clough?
It's competitive. Everton have been the most competitive side all season, and they're not letting it slip tonight either. For a cup final, particularly European cup final, this is as competitive as I've seen in the first 5 minutes for many a year.
This is Liner, the fullback. Rishtik. And Ratcliffe, anything just a little too competitive there. Conceding the free kick for the foul on Kinast. Brauneda. Rapid have hardly been in the Everton half so far, with 6 minutes gone if you just joined us. 0-0 in Rotterdam in this European Cup Winners' Cup final. And here's Trevor Steven now for Everton. Good one. Splendid run there by Steven, and Gray doing well to change the point of it as Gary Stevens plays it in again. This might come for Sheedy. Got support here from Van den Houw, who will now take the throw. Well, of course, they've every right to be confident, Everton. The championship is theirs. And until they came against Nottingham Forest on Saturday, 28 games this year without defeat. That sort of record builds confidence. And some lovely one-touch close stuff here from Everton, being applauded by the Dutch crowd as Van den Houw plays it in, but it's a simple one for the keeper. Having been to their hotel earlier today, I can't believe how relaxed the whole staff was, and Howard Kendall in particular. But such an air of confidence about them. Stayed incidentally in the same hotel that Aston Villa used in 1982 when they came here and beat Bayern Munich in the European Cup. Free kick to Everton this time. Not to be superstitious, said Howard Kendall, as he picked up his lucky suit. It's a free kick which Sheedy will take. The time and the testing time for Rapid will come when Sheedy gets a free kick a little closer in. That famous left foot, curling it in well, and a good jump that got it away for the Austrians. Stevens going in well. Touch on there by Sharp, and it won't come through to Gray. Brauneda getting it away. Van den Houw keeping the pressure on Rapid Vienna. Sheedy again curling one in towards Sharp, and Gray couldn't quite get in there. But a good start by Everton. Mountfield's header. Graham Sharp. 30 goals this season. Kevin Sheedy. Reed. Brought a whole coachload of his relatives here. Ratcliffe. Graham Sharp. Peter Reed. Just in the England squad, of course. As is Gary Stevens now, with this cross coming in. And it needed Gaga's interception at the expense of a corner to get Rapid Vienna out of trouble. Well, they brought forward Van der Houw to the near post. Mountfield, that exceptional young central defender who scored 14 goals this season, is also up in the box. Needless to say, Andy Gray and Graham Sharp are there too. As the corner comes in for Trevor Steven, not a particularly good one. Sheedy giving him a chance to repair it. Thought it was coming to Gray there for a moment. This is tackled, beaten by Sheedy. They try to get a 1-2 going, and Weber gets it back. And some good skill there. And the young central defender, Pinas, who can play in midfield. Minor towards Frankel. And Gary Stevens getting it away. When you're having such a good start, Brian, you really need, if you can, to make it count as well, don't you?
Obviously, they will love the goal. The quality of the crosses that are coming in are absolutely superb. And if they continue, obviously, it's only a matter of time. There's the two strikers of Sharp and Gray, a superb quality of the goal. And if the quality of the crosses are there as well, then you do get yourself a goal.
But the signs are there, with Sheedy already has put a couple of beautiful crosses in for them.
And the right back crosses a magnificent ball also. I think at the moment he's the best right back in England.
Well, there's the Everton bench, Colin Harvey and Mick Heaton, telling people to get in forward, and particularly they want Pat Vanden Hauwe to get in there. Well, here's Paul Bracewell. A bit of a dummy, really sold Weber not once but twice. Everton's throw. Gary Stevens with it. It's a good long throw there. Might come for Trevor Stephen. Might come for Paul Bracewell. In the end, it was Feijenoord who got it away. Tonight, and Graham Sharp getting there with a backward header. Huckle completely missing his. Sheedy. Gray, back for Sheedy! Tremendous save. A great move by Everton. Explosive finishing with the right foot there by Kevin Sheedy. And the keeper really had to be at his best. Well, it'll be Sheedy who takes this corner. Taken short. Sheedy again. Again, the good cross coming in towards Andy Gray. Still in play, this time with Trevor Stephen. They're having a great start at the moment, Everton, as Andy Gray tries to get to that one. Beaten in the air, though. Gary Stevens hoping to keep the pressure on them. And the throw goes Everton's way, to the annoyance of the Rapid fans around the ground. Well, with this long one, it could be more problems. Andy Gray up there! And it was Gaga who got it over the crossbar, but the whistle had gone for a shove in the back, possibly, and a free kick to Rapid Vienna. And I would think, sort of down on the Everton bench, they are pretty pleased with the way it's gone so far. Weber with the kick. Feijenoord with the throw for Rapid Vienna. Here's Weber, who was suspended and missed the semi-finals against Moscow Dynamo for the Austrian side. Pat Vanden Hauwe. Sharp. Sheedy. The Packhout. Frankel. And now Gary Stevens. Trying to reach Graham Sharp, but Garga's there. It's a big lad at 6'2". Consul already showing that, particularly that save from Sheedy, that he's settled down very quickly indeed. Pinas. Franja. Kristich. Quarter of an hour gone. No score. Franja. He's got inside Ratcliffe. And a brilliant challenge there by Ratcliffe. Now Gray. Brownedder. Fine piece of work there by the Everton defence, by Ratcliffe.
He's the quickest defender in the Football League in the back four, Brian, he is. It's funny, actually, because Colin Todd, who I used to work with and did play for Everton, he was quick, but this lad is obviously got it far over him. Incredible recovery, that was.
Well, here's Gary Stevens with a long throw, but the long cross, but the flag is up. Frank Jar. At Vanden Houw. And a rapid Vienna throw. Taken by Leiner. One of a number of Austrian internationals in this rapid side. Stevens covering nicely for Mountfield. Back to Neville Southall. Sharp, up well. Stevens get on the end of it? No, because Weber's there. Peter Reid. Free kick. The foul on Reid. Needless to say, the figure of Kevin Sheedy going across there. Whip, another wicked left foot curling free kick in. Sharp, Mountfield, Gray are all in there. Curling in towards the keeper. Mountfield with the header again, but this time too high. Amazing young centre-back, Derek Mountfield. 14 goals this season. That's what a manager wants.
I'm not sure about a manager. Most centre-forwards would be proud of it.
This is Rishnik. Feijenoord, now for Frank Jar. And this is Trevor Steven. Peter Reid. Gray for Sheedy. A little chip towards the far post. And it is really, as we used to say in the trade, one-way traffic, this.
Resembles a one-way street. You can only go one way, and Everton are only going one way at the moment. They're going forward. I'm staggered the progress Sheedy's made since he joined the club. It's extraordinary.
Well, he was with Liverpool before he joined Everton. Mountfield going for this one, winning it quite comfortably. Vanden Houw. Bracewell. Playing with such style and confidence, and as yet not quite the finishing touch, but here's Trevor Steven. Weber's got his hands full. He got in the challenge, but Everton get the throw. Vanden Houw, a man born in Belgium, brought up in London, played for Birmingham, now for Everton, and a Welsh international too. Here he is. Vanden Houw with a long cross there. Consell again up well, but unfairly challenged by Andy Gray. And the free kick given. No doubt about it, talking to the Austrians in the last couple of days, they are terrified at the prospect of Gray and Sharp, particularly in the air.
They get nothing like that in their league. And they're entitled to be a little bit perturbed as well, because the two strikers of Everton are superb headers of the ball and extremely brave young men.
Well, the free kick to be taken by Weber. Ratcliffe, again, comfortably winning it in the air, but Reid and Everton appear in midfield to be picking up everything that's loose. Stevens finding Gray. It's Krankel. Sheedy. Gray. Will he try and get Sheedy in again? No, the challenge was there and was too quick for him. Vandenhouw. Sharp peeling away. Finding Ratcliffe. That came off Krankel and conveniently for Sheedy. Reed. Now Stevens. Townfield will get there first and take no chances. Well, the buzz around the television commentary points about an hour before the game was that the message from the Austrian camp was that they were going to surprise Everton by going all out as though they were playing at home and try to blitz them in the first 15 minutes. In point of fact, they've hardly been in Everton's half. Brian, you're smiling.
Well, you've got to smile about that when you hear about buzzers like that, because nobody can pre-plan a cup final to that extent. When you're playing the English League champions, a blitz for 15 minutes, the blitz has been on the other foot.
It's no doubt this is Brown Edda, but during this time of some trial for Rapid, as they can hardly get out of their own half, they, I think, would be fair to say they're missing the steadying influence of Panenka in midfield, the brilliant Czechoslovakian midfield player. He's on the subs bench, and I've no doubt at some point during the evening he'll be on. Play on, said the referee. So Sheedy with just a chance to poke it in there towards Bracewell. The cross towards Andy Gray. It didn't quite reach him. It looked for a moment as though it was going to. And again, it's Everton's throw. Bracewell, Vandenhouw, sharp on the charge, but beaten in the air by Gaga. Oh, they're all over the place at the moment.
The pace of the game is too much for them, for the opposition at the moment. They're not quite sure how to handle everything, but they are hanging in there. Everton still haven't got the goal they desperately need, so they could settle down totally.
Downfield. Here's Crankjar. Weber. This is Weinhofer. Oh, a lovely bit of play again by Everton. As Bracewell gets into line for a shot, just wide of the Rapid goal. Graham Sharp peeling off there, but it was Bracewell's shot. And a good arresting sort of run through the midfield as Gaga takes the goal kick. Vandenhouw. Well, Andy Gray's got in behind them there. And they've got a corner. Just over halfway through the first half. If you've just joined us in this European Cup Winners' Cup final in Rotterdam, Everton 0, Rapid Vienna 0. But the game has been going solidly Everton's way almost from the first whistle. Comes out to Peter Reid. Sheedy crossing it again. The quality of that cross is there. Mountfield trying to get on the end of it. Goal kick. Rapid Vienna, who has been in the doldrums for quite a few years until Otto Baric, their Yugoslav coach, joined them some 3 or 4 years ago. Back in the 50s, they were the team in Europe. Some of the older viewers will remember the likes of gentlemen of Otsvirk and Anapi, Kappel. Otsvirk, I remember we used to call him Ockwork. But they really were a great side. This is their first European final, and they've been under the cosh almost from the word go, as it gets back to Southall again. Ratcliffe to Reed. Everton building up methodically. Everybody except Southall now in the Rapid half of the field. Trevor Stephen trying to get in with a header, and Weber getting it away. Reed again. Stevens. And Keenast keeping a very close watch on Andy Gray. And Gary Stevens getting it away once more. Miraculously, the ball has stayed in and it's fallen for Andy Gray. Played in lower this time, but Gaga, who's put in some good defensive work there for Rapid, getting it away, and a free kick for the foul on the number 10, Weinhofer. Rapid, who got here by way of beating Besiktas of Turkey. Celtic in the most controversial terms. Of course, if you remember, there were claims that a Rapid player was hit by a bottle. In fact, Weinhofer, who is on the ground at the moment, was the one. Rapid appealed to Uefa. They decided the match should be replayed, and the Austrians won it 1-0 at Old Trafford. And I know that Celtic and their fans are still seething about that. In fact, I saw one banner around the ground saying Celtic should be here. Well, Weinhofer's okay. Notice Colin Harvey on his feet down on the bench. Frankel trying to get underneath this one, beaten in the air by Gary Stevens, and Trevor Stephen a long way back to his keeper. Ratcliffe. Brandon Howe. Mountfield. Stephen. Mountfield. Sheedy. There's space for Gary Stevens, and his cross comes in, but Faber's there for Rapid. Dankjar hits it straight at Peter Reed, battled his way through there. Bracewell really stiffened up the midfield, and Gaga again beating sharp to it. But here's Pat van den Hauwe. Again, a good-looking cross coming in. The Austrians missed it, and so did Andy Gray, but it just flicked off the defender, and it means another corner for Everton. Coming up to half an hour gone, and still no score, and Kevin Sheedy with the corner for Everton. Keeper coming for it over Andy Gray's head. Gary Stevens trying to return it, goal kick. It's probably a daft question, Brian, but with all this pressure, how important is it that Everton should have made something of it and got a goal?
Well, with only half an hour gone, there's still a long, long way to go, and I genuinely can't see any resemblance of threat to the Everton back four at the moment. Krankel's strolling around, in fact. I think you can make a comeback.
No, I think not. Sheedy. And there's Sheedy again. They're buzzing and they're busy, and a good ball. The flag has stayed down for Andy Gray on the far side. Sharp's gone into the box. Bracewell's come up. Here's Gary Stevens. There's plenty of blue in there, but that time the cross wasn't quite good enough, and it's another goal kick. As you say, they're still hanging in there, Rapid Vienna, with a half an hour gone, 0-0. And Rapid, having beaten Celtic in rather dubious circumstances in the second round, then beat Dynamo Dresden, and in the semi-final, 2 excellent matches against Dynamo Moscow. So there's quality in this side, but we haven't seen a good deal of it yet tonight. As Mountfield now plays the long ball towards Sheedy, but Liner gets it. Here's Weber. Ristic. Frankjar. Liner, the fullback. Frankjar. 14 caps for Yugoslavia. Plays a nice little ball for Histric here. And the cross coming in. And Krankel's header. Well, Brian was saying a moment ago we've seen very little of him. But they say you have to wind this fellow up. But when he gets into the top of the area, he's so often deadly. I call him the grey pigeon. He was 69 Austrian caps and Europe's leading scorer, albeit back in 1978 with 41 goals. There is always a threat in Hans Krankel. This might come for Reed, shrugging off one challenge, but that was a little too much for him as Fristic finds Krankjar. Sheedy in again very quickly. Sharp hoping to capitalise, but Garger there. Now Brauneder, the left back. Back again for Brauneder. Same stadium, of course, where back in 1963 Spurs won the European Cup Winners' Cup against Atletico Madrid. Here's Peter Reid, the night when Jimmy Greaves and Terry Dyson, I remember, were in such sparkling form, the sort of form that Everton are showing at this moment, but it's still 0-0. And where 3 years ago, Brian, we saw Aston Villa beat Bayern Munich. Here's Bracewell. Oh, it nearly came all the way through and a goal kick. And trying to up the pace a little bit now, Rapid. Ristic. Weber. Ristic. Frankjar. The Packot in the middle, goal kick again. Now this is Frankjar, who's a tiny little player just playing in behind Krankel. Vandenhauwe. Sharp, good play. Not past Garger, but Weber there, the sweeper doing his job, and here he is again. Well, he took too much on there. Gray now finding Sharp. Gray having sprinted back to the far post. Bracewell's gone to the near post. And they were in a bit of a flummox for a moment there, and it could so easily have fallen for Bracewell in the end. Concel was happy to pounce on the ball. Vandenhauwe. Towards Andy Gray on the far side. He's up so well, but the pass wasn't directed quite well enough for Trevor Steven, who was coming in quickly. Brian?
If you can head a ball too well, Andy Gray did it then. If it had slightly misheaded it, it would have fallen into the path of somebody. I'm afraid it's just a case of when the dam is breached, and then it will collapse.
Frankjar. But here comes Ristic. The dam is not being breached at the moment. Indeed, it's the Austrians beginning to look threatening as they find Krankel on the far side. Brauneder's gone away outside him. Krankel to Frankjar. Slip at the crucial moment, and a free kick for them. Now this is where they would have loved to have had Kaminkel on the field, who is Kevin Sheedy and Michel Platini all rolled into one with the way he curls his free kicks, and I'm wondering who will take them now. Should be a little more straightforward. Ristich is behind it, and Frankel and Frankjar. So the Everton wall lines up. Looks as though it's going to be Ristich who will fire one. Frankjar. Well, that wasn't in the Panenka mold by a long way. No problems at all for Neville Southall. Neville, who picks up the Football Writers Association Footballer of the Year award, a great honour that, and a very worthy recipient indeed. He does that tomorrow night in London. Ratcliffe, and now he's gone around his man somehow, and a good piece of play by Van den Hal. Beginning to open up a little bit now as Rapid come forward with Brown header. Frankel away on his left. Here's Frankel. Sweeping ball to Frankjar. Stopped by Sheedy. Supported by Bracewell. Andy Gray. In for Peter Reid. Taken beautifully in his stride. Here's Trevor Steven. Gary Stevens. Steven again. Weinhofer. Frankjar. Ristich. Well, we saw again the speed of Ratcliffe getting across there. And a free kick given to Everton. The foul by this fellow, Peter Ristich, a new Austrian international, on Kevin Ratcliffe. But again, we saw, as Brian Clough was saying, the speed of Ratcliffe as he came across and saw the danger there, coped with it. Peter Reid. Mountfield. Stevens. And towards Sharp. There's a word there with Bravo. Thought he may have got a knock in the face. Sharp laying it on the line for the Austrian defender. If you just joined us, some 7 minutes to go to half-time. Still 0-0 here in Rotterdam between Everton and Rapid Wien. Good support from the Everton fans here. They reckon there might be as many as 25,000 of them. Well, they'll be cheering now as Andy Gray takes it up. That's a clear obstruction there by Weber. And it'll be a yellow card for the Rapid sweeper, number 5, Herbert Weber. And a free kick to Everton. Enter Kevin Sheedy. "16 goals this season for Sheedy. Maybe he would have fancied it 2 or 3 yards further in. The Rapid manager has been studying videos of Everton. He came to see their match against West Ham at Goodison Park. It's Sheedy curling it. Outfield on the far side! And it's been ruled out. Andy Gray's goal will not count. Brian Clough.
I saw the linesman's flag go up, and I thought the decision was a bit harsh, actually, because the lad didn't move till the ball had been played, but I'd have to see it again. He's offside as well.
Offside, no problem. Fine piece of work by Mountfield. He got up so well with the header.
It'd be interesting to see at half-time if we can get it again, just if he was offside.
Well, I'm sure back in the studio that's something that Ron Atkinson will be looking at. It's Peter Reid now for Everton, still 0-0. 5 minutes to go to the interval. Sheedy. Bracewell. Ratcliffe. Reid. Space and time. Downfield. Stevens. There's Peter Reid. It's almost unreal for a cup final, this, Brian, isn't it? I mean, to be so one-sided, although it still stands at 0-0.
And Everton will have to keep the composure, because there's nothing more frustrating than knowing that you've dominated 45 minutes and you see nothing on the score sheet. They'll have to keep the composure and they'll have to keep playing football. That might sound a little bit balmy, but I mean short stuff. Don't rely too much on Gray and Sharp up front, despite the fact that the good crosses of the ball and good headers. Reid and Bracewell will still have to control the game.
At the moment, they have a little defending to do. As Feijenoord tries to make progress, goes down, gets a free kick. Well, they brought 1 or 2 forwards, including the fullback Reiner and Brown-Edder, the left back, and Keenast, who's a big 6-footer. Andy Gray spotted him a little bit late and has now got back into that Everton penalty area. Here comes the free kick, and it's played for Ristic, who drives a fair ball, but that time hit it straight at Everton. And now if Everton can break out quickly, there might be chances. Sharp, but the green shirts are getting back. Stevens. It's Mountfield. Back again by Gray to Vanden Hal. Oh, a good ball, play through. Play on, says the linesman on the far side. Sheedy hitting it straight at the defender. Vanden Hal. A fine game to Vanden Hal. Oh, both the keeper and Trevor Stephen missing that one. And Gary Stevens, in his desire to get into the ball, is going to get a yellow card. So a yellow card then for Gary Stevens for the challenge on Brown-Edder.
A little bit harsh that, Brian, the booking. I'm not quite sure what the referee has booked him for, actually, because he went low. He did go a fraction late, but it was a genuine tackle, and the right back can consider himself unlucky.
There's about a minute and a half to go to half-time, Brian. How would you sum up now this first half?
Well, as we've talked about, it's been one-way traffic for 45 minutes. They haven't done the one thing that every side's got to do. Who wants to win a match, let's score a goal. But I genuinely think it's only a matter of time, and at the risk of repeating myself, they'll not have to let frustration creep in. Because when frustration creeps into any side, things like bookings and missed chances and all sorts can crop up. Keep the composure, get the feet up at half-time, and I genuinely think it's only a matter of time before the score.
I'm sure there are words that will be well received, particularly on Merseyside. Let's hope it's right. Good play by Reid. What an inspiration he is again in the middle of the field, but Mountfield needs to get back. There was a shove. In fact, by Crankjar on Mountfield, it looks suspiciously it may have been the other way, but the referee's given Everton the free kick. Here's Gary Stevens. Here is Gary Stevens, but then stopped. Trevor Stephen. Send the ball out to Sharp, but it won't reach Gray. Their keepers handled everything well, Brian.
He showed a lot of composure in the last 20 minutes. He stopped a good shot from Sheedy with his right foot, who played a 1-2 Sheedy did on the edge of the box.
Well, here's Sharp. Oh, Keenast is there.
And had an absolute cracking save. And that, as everybody knows, builds goalkeeper's confidence up more than anything else.
So a half-time whistle. First 45 minutes dominated almost completely by Everton, but nothing to show for it on the score sheet. And as Brian Clough says, they will need to go in and get their feet up and tell themselves to be patient and stay composed. Rapid Vienna 0, Everton 0. So welcome back here in Rotterdam, 0-0. Everton then will get us underway as soon as Paolo Casarin, referee from Italy. As we're seeing at half-time, although we haven't seen a replay of it here in Rotterdam, there was a distinct possibility that Andy Gray's goal might have been onside. Well, it's still 0-0, that one didn't count. Kevin Sheedy with a long ball there, which Browneder heads for Stevens now to play forward. I wonder, Elton Wellesby down on the track side, if you can acquaint us to what the feeling was in the Everton dressing room at half-time.
Brian, I can do better than that. John Bailey, one of the Everton subs, is sat right beside me. John, what was Howard Kendall, Mick Heaton and Colin Harvey saying in there during the interval?
Well, there wasn't really much to say, Elton. The lads have been doing ever so well, and all it was a matter of them to just tell them to keep it going, but stay on your toes at the back, because we've got so much of the ball, and let's just watch out for their breaks. And I'm sure you've seen Everton South all shouting all the time from the back just to keep them on our toes, because we've got so much territorial advantage, and that's the main thing he was just stressing. Otherwise, just keep it going and the game will be ours.
Well, precisely the words really that Brian Clough was saying just before half-time, to keep their composure and their professionalism and their patience. Of course, there has to be a decision here tonight. If it's still level at the end of 90 minutes, we go into extra time, and my word, if it's like that at the end of that, we get those heart-thumping penalties again. There will be a decision here tonight. Faber, who's already been booked. Well, he looked as though he may have been offside there, Feijenoord, but it's a case in point there for Everton to stay on their toes. The break was on, the cross was in, Brian Clough.
The referee was watching the ball, actually, and the linesman, particularly the linesman, obviously, because he's responsible for offside. He was watching the ball, and the guy was definitely offside.
Well, it creates just a minor problem here for Everton as Rapid Vienna get this corner, their first of the game, which Peter Hiestrich will take, and Gary Stevens quite comfortably getting it away. But the warning was there for Everton, and I know it's one of Brian Clough's old feelings that all the time you're at 0-0, even if you're being overrun, you're always in with a chance. Well, certainly Rapid Vienna were overrun in that first half, but here's a good long throw. Vanden Hauwe getting up well to get it away. Peter Reid helping it on its way. Graham Sharp is there, but the whistle had gone. Free kick to Rapid, and rapidly taken as well. Ristich. Good play here, and Frenchard is through, and Frankel himself tried to get in. It's over the top, and a goal kick. Frenchard, in fact, the little lively number 7, was brought down, and a free kick in the end given in Everton's favour, the foul by Frankel. Here's Gary Stevens. Long and high towards Graham Sharp. Nodded into the path of Andy Gray. They badly want this goal, Everton. Stephen. In fact, he had Kevin Sheedy in a bit of space on the far side and didn't pick him up. Reid. Oh, caught out there. Ristich on the charge. Reid repairing the damage. Finding Trevor Stephen. There's, if anything, you suspect more urgency about Rapid in the opening minutes of the second half, but is Everton now with Andy Gray brought down by Weber, who's already been booked, and a free kick to Everton. Brian?
They're scrapping a bit more, the opposition now, for the first few minutes of second half. And it's made it more of a match. They've been in the Everton penalty area more in 5 minutes than they were in 45.
Sheedy curling one in, and Mountfield getting in. Thought that was sure to go over for the goal kick, and now he's got to get back and defend. There's Ristich, and here's Frankel. Stevens has got to cut him off. Frenchard is waiting in the middle. Keenast is coming up fast, but it's still with Hans Frankel, and Ratcliffe putting it behind for another Rapid Vienna corner. They didn't get one in the first half. They're now getting their second one in the first 4 minutes of the second. Ratcliffe then, looking around to make sure people remain marked up. And Skrankel, the captain, and 32-year-old striker with it, finding Hristich. Deep cross towards the far side, and Everton getting it away quite comfortably. And a powerful shot there from Gaga. Liner putting it in, and Southall gathering quite comfortably. Renewed shouting from the Rapid Vienna fans now, seeing a little more coming from their side in the early part of this second half. Still 0-0 in this European Cup Winners' Cup final in Rotterdam. Ratcliffe towards Gray. Bracewell. Stephen. And Browneder to Weber to his keeper. Browneder. The Austrians clearly distressed, though, when the result of the World Cup game in Budapest yesterday went so much against them, when Holland beat Hungary and eliminated the Austrians from the World Cup finals. Looking for compensation here tonight. But Bracewell for Everton, and another corner. Now it's the turn of the Everton fans to raise their voices. Kevin Sheedy doesn't take this corner. It's going to be Trevor Stephen on the far side. Again, Derek Mountfield up from the back. Sheedy, number 11, you can see there. In fact, he's just outside the penalty area. And the referee looking intently for anything that might be going on the goal line there. It's Weber who got that one away. Bracewell. Can he get his cross in? No, but he gets another corner. Surely soon Everton will make something count. Mountfield up there again. Stephen once again with the corner. Loaded in there. Keeper didn't get to it. In the end, Hristich hacking it away anywhere to safety. And in that challenge at the near post, Rapid defender Gaga is down and injured. He's had a big influence in the centre of the defence. At 6'2", they planted him there with Keenas to see off the aerial challenge of Gray and Sharp. Well, get on with it. And you too, ref. Everton slow then. Vanden Houw. To Reed. Now back to Reed again from Ratcliffe. At Vanden Houw. Keenast getting it away. Mountfield's header might just put Reed in the clear. Bracewell. And again. And the cross this time towards Andy Gray. Okay. Sheedy. Losing it to Krankel. Oh, he's tripped Ratcliffe. He's found Hristich. The flag is down. Weiner's making a break, and Vanden Houw spotted it. Southall there. Talk about the need for patience and not getting frustrated on the field. How does a manager, how would Howard Kendall be feeling at this time, Brian, do you think?
He'd be slightly concerned that they haven't cashed in on the amount of play they've had, and a little bit of pressure, obviously, but he won't be too concerned yet. You know, there's a long way to go in this match.
Reed. Here's Hristich. Fienast and Weinhofer. Here's Sheedy. Fienast getting back now. As Sheedy sprays it wide and an offside flag is up. Not a popular decision with the Everton fans who are level with it. They may be slightly prejudiced. But the Italian linesman remains unmoved. He's done a fabulous job, Howard Kendall, in calming everything down leading up. I mean, it's really been such a fabulous 10 days or so for Everton. They only arrived in Rotterdam last night. They didn't train anywhere in Holland at all, which surprised everybody. They didn't even come and inspect the pitch. They're flying back to Merseyside immediately after this game. They've got tomorrow off. They're going to do a bit of training at Goodison on Friday and then leave for Wembley, as Howard himself says, as though it really were just another game against Manchester United, which of course it won't be. But here are Rapid Vienna. Good stern challenge again, that time by Van den Hauwe. Bracewell putting Reed on his way. Here come Everton in blue again. That looked like a foul, and indeed it was by Hristich. Sheedy curling it in towards Andy Gray, trying to get it back to Sharp, and Sharp's holding them all off at the moment. Got a bit of support here from Gary Stevens. Good play. Can he get a cross in towards Andy Gray? No. Fienast was there. Van den Hauwe. Gray again, trying from a different angle. Reed once more. Weinhofer's header only going as far as Mountfield. Let's see what we can find on the other side of the field. Crossed in again by Van den Hauwe. There comes the keeper. Still can't find a way through. And for all this Everton pressure, I suppose it must also reflect, Brian Clough, that the Austrians are defending quite competently as well.
The two middlemen in the back four have headed it and competed with Gray and Sharp as good as I've seen this season. And the goalkeeper's confidence is growing. It's just a case of if they can hang out.
Hristich. Oh, the back pass might come to Sharp. He's got Andy Gray in there. That's the goal! Given away by Vienna in the end. And Andy Gray capitalised with help from Graham Sharp superbly. There's the back pass, which was never going to reach its man. Here comes Graham Sharp. Eluding the keeper, eluding the challenge. He looks up. What a ball that is. And what a lovely left foot finish there by Andy Gray. Everton in the lead. Brian Clough.
I do realise it was a bad back pass, but Sharp does absolutely magnificently here. He could have gone down there for a start. He even finds time to look up, and then he nearly puts it through the goalkeeper's hands. In fact, I think he did. And Gray tucks it in beautifully.
Well, it was the goal that Everton richly deserved, and now they'll go storming forward and look for another one. Sharp and Gray, the men just brought in by Jokstein into the Scottish squad for the games against England and Iceland, have combined superbly. A Scottish goal that puts Everton 1-0 into the lead. Well, on the bench now, I wonder what the feelings are.
Hey! John Bailey. Back with us again. That was the goal you wanted, wasn't it?
I can't get my breath here. Oh, fantastic. It was always going to come, we thought, and Sharpie's done brilliant there, put one back for Andy, and 1-0. Let's just hope we can get another one, and that, you know, probably put the result beyond doubt. Fantastic. Very exciting.
Here's Ratcliffe. Still got to stay composed. They've still not got to take chances. They've still got to stay on watch. There's still a long way to go. But here come Everton again. Bracewell looking to get Sheedy in. He's got some support from Graham Sharp. A cross coming in, and this time the keeper holding it. Mountfield to safety. And I think it won't be long before Rapid bring, you can see in the picture there, the gentleman in the light trousers, Otto Baric, the trainer. And he's going to bring on the number 15, Johan Gross. Still no Panenka, and it's Packelt who is coming off. So in fact was one of the attackers who they thought might trouble Everton most. Scored the goal, in fact, at Old Trafford, but eventually knocked out Celtic. That's not Kevin Richardson, let me tell you. That is Johan Gross. Well, here come Rapid Vienna again. And it'll be their throw. Also, I noticed that Panenka is warming up. Midfielder who they hope might marshal something in the middle of the field. Brauneder. There's Trevor Steven. Just can't get it away at the moment. Frischtik trying to seek out Krankel, but the ball's gone into touch. It's gone for a throw. It must have just flicked off an Everton boot. Brauneder. Frischtik. Everton trying to cover all the angles, but he's found Hans Krankel. Says Bracewell, an unspectacular but so effective player in the midfield. Gets it away to Andy Gray, the scorer of the Everton goal. If you've just joined us, the glad tidings from Rotterdam. Everton leading by 1-0. Free kick. And Stevens will take it. Garger away. Here's Gary Stevens. Trying to get Stevens in again. And right across the face of that Rapid goal. Now there could be a break-up. Worse, with fresh legs, getting past Bracewell. Krankel there. Can he finish it off? Reed is there, doing well. And finding Steven. And now it's with Vandenhouw. Sharp. Stevens outside it. And the cross is met by Weber. Sharp again. The cross towards Andy Gray. Knocks it down this time for Pat Vandenhouw. Kevin Sheedy on the far side. A good cross coming in. And Weber stretched to the limit to get a header to that one. And Bracewell's shot is high and wide. And a goal kick to Rapid Vienna. David at the kick. Mountfield with the header. Mountfield again, slight miss kick. Reiner. Frischtik. Showing all the skill to get past Reed. Feijenoord, that should be easy for Southall, and it is. So we now have Everton leading by 1-0. with 19 minutes of the second half gone. Playing it forward. Here's Keenast. Well, they may have got Van caught a little too far forward. The cross coming in, but that clip is there. Oh, good play by Bracewell. Sharp lurking away on the left flank. Peter Reid. Sharp wanting it again. Perfect pass. Or is it for Gary Stevens? Laid in for Andy Gray. Good, confident passing movement here by Everton. Reid leading by 1-0. Bracewell. And again, getting it back. Everton fans are enjoying this. Bracewell again, but can they find the explosive finish? The dummy by Stephen. It's Paul Bracewell again, the little chip in for Trevor Stephen. Magnificent save. Some save there by Cronswell. But what a lovely piece of play by Trevor Stephen. Making that brilliant shooting chance for himself. And a fine piece of keeping. Brian Cobb, let's see the corner first, Brian, and then we'll see what Gary Stevens can do here. It's a deep one again. Andy Gray there with his header. That was nodded away by Gaga. That would have gone in. Quality play by Trevor Stevens.
It would have gotten the Guinness Book of Records a number of times that the Everton played the ball then and eventually created a magnificent chance. I thought he was going to score, actually, and I think he thought he was going to.
Well, the other news is that down on the bench, Antonin Panenka, the substitute, will shortly be coming on for Rapid Vienna. Gary Stevens. Quick there, and here's Trevor Stephen on his way again. Sharp's gone to the near post, Gray's at the back post, played down this time for Graham Sharp, hit by Gary Stevens away over the top. And they're going to bring Panenka on, take off Rudy Weinhofer. Substitution now being made. There's Panenka, what a character he is, 37 years old, got over 60 caps for Czechoslovakia. You may remember he scored that dramatic penalty winner for Czechoslovakia against West Germany in the European Championship final away back in 1976. Well, that will mean one or two things with Panenka, he has gone right forward with Campbell, not into the midfield. One thing it'll mean for sure is that Everton now must certainly not under any circumstances concede a free kick within shooting range just outside the penalty area. Because Panenka is absolute dynamite with those, with some swerving free kicks. He will also tend, I would have thought, to quieten things down a little bit in the midfield, compete a little bit, and he's an excellent passer of the ball. But first they've got to get the ball, and at the moment it's Gary Stevens for Everton. Trevor Stevens. Weber. Free kick. Referee having a quick word with Trevor Stevens for that challenge on Gaga. Here's Shrishtik. Outfield. Sharp, up well, what a nice header inside for Paul Bracewell. Andy Gray hoping to get on the end of it, does in fact. Keenast is there, but Reid plays it wide for Vanden Hauwe, who's had a tremendous game, and now Sheedy with that famous left foot, well taken out by Weber. A really good piece of play by the Austrian number 5. And here's Panenka. Do you see what I mean about the pass with the ball? That's the bit of quality that they've really been lacking as he finds Frankel, and now Brauneder. Played towards Frankel. They need to win it in the air, and they do. And it comes now to Kevin Sheedy. sweeper might well be released for a few more forward runs. That's not a bad ball, but it was well met in the first place by Brandon Howe. Panenka quickly pounced, thinking that the whistle may not go, but it did, and it's a free kick to Everton. I know it's one of your favourite sayings, Brian, it only takes a second to score a goal, so in those terms, Neville Southall and his friends have got to stay really alert, even though they're so much on top.
Yes, they'll be on edge until they get the second goal, actually, and then obviously they'll be totally relaxed, and I genuinely think they'll get the second one.
Well, it's Ratcliffe. Stay calm, take no chances. There are still 20 minutes left between Everton claiming part 2 of what they hope will be, which I'm sure Ron Atkins is equally sure it won't be, an amazing treble. Having got the League Championship, they would hope to add to it the Cup Winners' Cup, and they'll be looking for that FA Cup on Saturday at Wembley. And I can tell you the buzz right around Holland with all the commentators from right around Europe is that they just can't wait to get to Wembley on Saturday for what they think will be a truly astounding game of football. Well, it's been a very one-sided game here, but Everton are leading by a goal to nil. And it's still close enough for all their territorial advantage to suggest that Everton must remain watchful. And here's Panenka on the ball again. Let's see what he can do with this one. Great quality he's got with his free kicks when he curls them, Kevin Sheedy style, is he's always on target. This is Weber. He's had a really fine game as a sweeper for Rapid. But here come Everton again. Sheedy's ball, hoping to release Trevor Stephen. From one end of the field to the other, and in the end pushed away by the number 4 Browneder for another Everton corner. Great ball by Sheedy. Fine run by Trevor Stephen, and some excellent defence by Browneder. Everton still leading by 1 goal to nil, scored by Andy Gray. If the photographer will just move just a moment for Kevin Sheedy, there's the cross coming in, and it went all the way, and it's in there, and it's Trevor Stephen, and it's the second for Everton. Well, the defence allowed that to go all the way through. Well, Trevor Stephen was Johnny on the spot, and the Rapid Vienna defence must be looking amongst themselves to say how on earth did that get through so many of our defenders and reach Trevor Stephen and put Everton 2-0 ahead. Well, it was the goal you said was bound to come, Brian.
He's deserved the goal as well. He's had two superb chances. I thought he was going to score before they got the corner, but it was a magnificent tackle by one of the Viennese players. But I think that's now sealed it for Everton. They can sit back now, not relax too much, but a little bit of tension will go out of the play, and if they can just knock it around, what will be in the minds now is, let's conserve every single bit of energy we can for Saturday.
Meanwhile, down on the bench.
Well, you predicted that a second goal would kill them off, John Bailey. Is that still the way you feel about it?
Yeah, I think that's enough for us. Be happy to get some more, but the bench feel that I think we've done it now, and let's hope we can just keep the ball and keep controlling, maybe get some more goals. We're looking great at the moment. Can't see us getting beat, put it that way.
The view of John Bailey sitting on the Everton substitutes bench as Gary Stevens plays it in, goes beyond Histrich, and a corner for Everton. And it's taken quickly, even the referee didn't spot that, and the Austrians may well be caught out by it. Gary Stevens with the shot and the keeper behind that one. A word about the work of Howard Kendall, though, Brian, as a fellow manager yourself.
Over the season, or since he was having his bad time the last 2 years, there was petitions and all sorts going around about him, as everybody knows, a couple of years ago. The Everton chairman kept faith with him, and this is the reward that the board of directors have got. They've got a superb young manager, they've got a magnificent young team, and I am of the opinion they'll be a force for many a year.
Well, they're in a bit of trouble there at the moment, but in the end they got it away. Keenast. They're going to do anything. They need to pull something back quickly. Yes, you get a feeling that this is a side that can last and last.
The very composition of the side, the back four are as young as, if not younger than anybody in the Football League. The goalkeeper is, or has had, such a superb season, and he's only 26. And you can keep going right up to the young men at the front. Young Sharp, I think, is only 22, 23.
That's Reed. Here's Sharp again. And again, just couldn't keep it in. I know you've had your differences with Graham Sharp, Brian, which have been very public over the last few days, but tonight he's played an excellent part up front for Everton.
There wasn't any differences. He was just out of order what he did at Everton. There's no differences there. I told him about it on Saturday, and if I see him doing it again, I'll tell him again.
Will you also tell him well done for tonight?
Of course, and as I described the goal, he played, when Everton scored the first goal, he was playing with all the class of an inside forward, never mind the striker, because that was a superb goal.
Well, here's Gary Stevens looking for one himself. But stopped that time by Weber. And a free kick given against Rapid Vienna to Everton. Referee certainly kept a very firm check on everything tonight. He may have disallowed a goal that he felt should have been given to Andy Gray in the first half, but Everton have made up for it in the second. Here's Gray again, trying to chip that one through. Oh, Neville Southall just a moment ago was a good 25 yards outside his penalty area. He's got to get back now, although Gary Stevens is there. And Rapid Vienna, at the moment of being outclassed, and just cannot get into the game. Well, the Everton fans are chanting champions. And they're also putting on a display tonight that will be seen right around the world. And will give warning, as Brian himself was saying, for a few years to come. Such a quality and a confidence about them. Although Reed brings down Brown out of there, concedes the free kick. Inside the last 15 minutes. Joyous news from Rotterdam, if you just joined us. Everton are winning this European Cup Winners' Cup final by 2 goals to 0. Andy Gray and Trevor Steven the scorers. Keenast. Weber. Panenka. It would truly need some magic from him now to pull this game round. It's a lovely ball he's played there, but Chris will not get to it. Well, the cry going up around me is, are you watching Manchester with Saturday in mind? You can be sure 100% that every Manchester United player is watching it. And we know for a fact that their manager is too. It's an interesting psychological thought, Brian, as to just how Everton now will relate to Saturday after this one.
Well, I was interested in Howard Kendall's words. It will be just another match. A little bit of oversimplification there, but I know exactly what he means. Once again, having got this out of the way tonight, and 2 trophies tucked on the mantle shelf, psychologically they'll go in with a tremendous cushion of confidence. But just remember that the cup final at Wembley is a cup final, and just another cup tie as well. And as Ron knows, it's over 90 minutes and anything can happen in a cup tie.
Well, here's Gary Stevens for Everton, getting it back a long way towards certainly on the night underworked Neville Southall. I don't think Neville's had a really serious shot to save, and certainly hasn't had a serious alarm. But after the season he's had, well, maybe he deserves that sort of rest. He's had an absolutely brilliant season, of course. Reid can't reach that. Panenka can. And the ball played quickly forward, but this is offside. No fears on Merseyside, it can be done. Here comes Peter Reid. Offside against Graham Sharp. Still getting his passes in. Keenas trying to get it through to Frankel, who's hardly shown tonight. But an offside flag is up, this time against Frankel. Wasn't much in that one. A little under 10 minutes left. I just wonder what Howard Kendall thinks about it all now.
Fantastic.
Now Stevens coming through. Well, I'd be interested to know with Elton Billsby down there. I think Howard Kendall's got to sit next to him. I just wonder whether we can get a word with the Everton manager. Well, apparently we can't. Well, one thing is for sure, and that is that he must be mighty pleased with the way his men in blue are playing tonight. 2-0 up inside the last 10 minutes. Ristich. Frankel. Players onto the field there, as you can see, which is a bit stupid. And Gress making a great run. And Southall, for the first time, called into action and responds superbly. Well, there's a bit of class there, Brian. He's had so little to do, and when suddenly called upon, with about 82 minutes of the game gone, produces reactions like that.
He stood up straight and kept his eye on the ball, and goalkeepers like a little bit more to do, as you well know. But the way he's playing at our place on Saturday, the ball seems to stick to him like glue, and he's getting in the way of 99% of everything.
Reid. Panenka. Oh, what a good ball there. Oh, that could be a free kick, or it could be a penalty. It's not a penalty. The linesman has kept his flag by his side and shown. But it's a free kick right outside the penalty area, the very thing that Everton didn't want to give away. Panenka's already got the ball there. That wall has got to be built strongly and securely, and Southall behind it has got to be really alert. There's still 7 minutes left, and if Rapid Vienna could get a breakthrough now, all our talk about Everton winning could become premature. Here's the kick, and it hits the wall.
I'll be interested, Brian, in what Uefa are going to do about all these rockets that appear to be coming on the field, and certainly from the Rapid Vienna end.
Correct.
Because we hear a lot of criticism about our lot wherever we go within Europe. I'll be interested to see what their officials do to the Viennese.
And wouldn't you have thought, with the events that we've had to endure over the last few days, it takes some sort of idiot to do that sort of thing?
Well, I just can't understand them. I had lunch in a square in Rotterdam today with some prison warders from Liverpool, and we were just saying what a magnificent ambassadors the Everton fans were, and now we've got the opposition idiot getting players on the field.
Well, they are being made to suffer at the moment, although the flag is up for an offside against Graham Sharp, which was a unanimous decision, I must say. He looked okay to me. You're quite right about the Everton fans, and thus far that has been the case, and let's hope it stays that way. They've been magnificent ambassadors, so much so that I think in one of the squares in the town, the police in fact laid out a football pitch and had the local police playing Everton fans in a football game at lunchtime. So that's... Oh, here's a chance for Campbell. Campbell! Well, what seemed impossible has happened. Rapid Vienna have found a breakthrough. Campbell looking suspiciously offside, but the flag stayed down. Has brought Rapid Vienna dramatically back into the game with just 5 minutes left. Two-one.
It's amazing what certain decisions can do in football. That looked offside from where I was sitting. Everton scored a goal that didn't look offside.
Now here's Sheedy. Well, there's the answer. Oh. Take that. And if there were any lingering doubts for just a moment, that faithful left foot of Kevin Sheedy has put paid for those. Trying again. A lovely ball by Graham Sharp for Kevin Sheedy.
He takes it absolutely magnificently. Looks up, I think it clips the post and goes in. A beautiful reply.
3-1. 4 minutes left. Kevin Sheedy. And just when there might have been just the odd little bit of twitch amongst Everton and their fans, the reply was absolutely magnificent. Kristic. Southall coming for it. They'd only conceded one goal in the European Cup Winners' Cup up to this point at Everton. Bayern Munich scored in the semi-final. So a Sheedy goal that must have brought some relief to the Everton bench, I would think. Ratcliffe's ball finding Mountfield. He clashed with Gross, who foot seemed rather high there on the Everton defender. Mountfield, in fact, clutching his ribs. And Reed finding Sharp. Again, Sharp, who scored in every round. But so far, not in this one. Reed. A little over 2 minutes left. Bracewell. Reed. Just playing with them now, Everton. Simple passing, and the Austrians themselves know that it's all up. First Division Championship is theirs. The second leg of the treble is now on. And Everton's thoughts, in a matter of a couple of minutes or so, will start to turn to Wembley, to Manchester United, and to Saturday. Sheedy first, though. Gray tackling. Well, the Austrians said they respected Everton as a fine side with no obvious weaknesses in it. That really has proved to be the case tonight. About a minute or so left. Here's Panenka. Gary Stevens getting it away. Sharp up well. Panenka again. Sheedy, scorer of the third goal. Gray, the scorer of the first. If you've just joined us, 3-1 to Everton. Right at the end of this Winners' Cup final at Rotterdam. Gary Stevens. Hits straight at the kick. Apart from anything else, what do you think this does now for British football? football again, for your industry in particular, Brian?
Well, it can't do any harm. We're back winning another European trophy. We seem to be in the habit of it over the last 10, 15 years. And I think we'll continue to win European trophies. And nobody's done it better than Everton tonight. They've done it with style, they've done it with class, they've done it with strength. And they've achieved everything without any problems. I think we've had 2 bookings, very, very minor offences, and they're a credit to us.
Well, that's good to hear. I think most people watching it at home tonight would endorse all of that. It's not the final whistle, but it's a free kick to Rapid. It can't be more than a few seconds away. Everton are close to winning the European Cup Winners' Cup. Linas putting it through, the flag is up, it's offside. Free kick to Everton. They're nearly there. And now they are there. Everton have won it by 3 goals to 1. The goals from Ray, Stephen and Sheedy. Crowd replying to Rapid Vienna. Let's go down onto the touchline in Elton Wells Street with Howard Kendall.
Howard Kendall, well done. Thank you very much indeed. Immediate reaction to that.
You've seen something special tonight. That was an unbelievable performance. Tremendous.
What is the one aspect of it that really delighted you more than anything else?
I thought every one of our players was absolutely magnificent, and as a team performance, you couldn't see any better. That was absolutely brilliant.
The goals came at such a great time too, didn't they?
The third one didn't it? We nearly had an extra few moments at the end, but I mean, Kevin Sheedy put that one away and it was all over.
At the half-time interval, you'd had so much possession, you hadn't scored. Was there maybe just a little element of doubt there in your mind at all?
No, we had to keep on playing as we were doing. No problems there.
What about the fans? I think they're enjoying it.
No, happy again, aren't we?
Go and enjoy your moment, and well done again. Just stay with us down here for a couple of moments. The jubilation scenes, as you can expect, are fantastic. Peter Reid is with us. Peter.
Won the second one, so a few drinks tonight and then out there on Saturday. I'd like to say thanks to all them fans. Been absolutely brilliant.
Peter, well done. Kevin Ratcliffe, you're going to lift that cup in a minute, Kevin.
I hope so. Anyway, nobody's going to get me there before me anyway. Brilliant.
The club's first European trophy, what does it mean?
Great deal to me, a great deal to the fans and a great deal to the club. Brilliant.
Kevin, thanks a lot. Andy Gray's with us too.
This is getting habit. You interviewing me straight after games.
People are going to start talking, aren't they? You scored the vital first goal, and it was that.
Well, I think the second one's always the most vital one. To be fair, I got the breakthrough that we needed. And we're desperately unlucky not to have first half. But I'm absolutely delighted, obviously. Now let's go for the treble.
Howard said it was one of the great team performances.
I think we're absolutely superb. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And I'll hand you over to Trevor Stevens.
Oh, he's a real pro. Yes, Trevor Stephen. Let's not get the name wrong, for crying out loud. The second goal must have given you a great thrill.
So I had a good chance earlier on, about 10 minutes before. I managed to turn in the box and the keeper made a good save. Thought she was squad from there actually, but in the end I got the chance in front of the goal and I'm delighted to have scored.
Well, we'll have to let you go. You need to get that medal now.
Yes, looking forward to it.
Thanks, Trevor. Back to Brian now for these scenes as Everton receive the European Cup Winners' Cup.
Thank you, Elton. It was great to get those views right after the finish there. And now the big moment. They've already had the First Division Championship trophy presented to them. Now it's the turn of the European Cup Winners' Cup to go back to Goodison Park. Slight hiccup, as we always seem to get. The presentation, in fact, to be made by Mr. Jacques Georges from France, who is the president of UEFA. Well, it's been pretty plain sailing for Everton most of the night here in Rotterdam. This might almost be the hardest journey of all. And the Everton fans, 20,000 of them and more in the stadium in Rotterdam. A joyous night for them, and certainly their team has done British football proud as Kevin Ratcliffe raises the European Cup Winners' Cup. They just had that minor scare 5 minutes or so from the end when Krankel scored his goal and the lead was whittled to 2-1. But Sheedy's immediate response put Everton back into great heart and made sure of a night that they never really ever looked like losing. And in the meantime, the Austrian players almost shocked and numbed really on the field there. They really don't know quite what's hit them, and they were never truly in the game. So there'll be a lap of honour, you can be sure of that. Graham Sharp there, whose magnificent ball into the path of Andy Gray for that first important goal. And the photographers from just about every newspaper in Europe now wanting their shot of the new winners of the Cup Winners' Cup. When you think a little more than 18 months ago, Everton in many respects were almost down and out. They were 17th in the first division. As Brian Clough was saying a bit earlier, there were petitions about changing the manager. The crowds were down to about 10,000 or so. And now suddenly they are right back on the highest level on Merseyside, and that really means something.